Good morning, dear students. Welcome to chemistry class. Today we are going to start a new chapter, that is chapter number 3, elements, compounds and mixtures. In this video lesson, we are going to learn what is a substance, elements and its classification, what are the different properties of elements, then what are metalloids and how to make use of symbols to represent elements. In our day-to-day life, we come across a different types of substances. Now, these substances are made up of matter. For example, the food we eat, the water we drink, air that we are breathing, and all the non-living as well as the living things that are present around us are known as matter. Okay, now based on the composition. Based on the composition, all the substance or matter can be divided into two types of substances. Pure substance and a mixed or a impure substance. Okay, so what is a pure substance? A pure substance is a substance that consists of only one kind of atoms or molecules. In pure substances, the atoms and the molecules they are combined in a fixed proportion. Okay. Now, the substance may be impure also. So, now let us recall what is an atom. Atom is the smallest particle, or we can say a building block of a substance or matter. Molecules are formed when two atoms combine. They may be, or we may say that molecules are formed when two or more atoms combine together. These atoms may be of same or of different kinds. For example, in a water molecule, the two types of atoms are hydrogen and oxygen. First topic that we are going to discuss is the element. An element is a pure substance and that consists of only one kind of atoms. For example, copper. Copper, the vessels that are made from copper, they consist of only copper atoms. Okay, and they element cannot be broken down into a simpler substances by any means, either by physical or chemical methods. Now, each element exhibits its own unique properties. For example, gold, copper, iron, calcium, and zinc. So, what are the main features of elements? The main features of elements is that element is made up of only one kind of atoms, or we may say that element consists of identical atoms. Now, each element exhibits its own individual properties. The atoms of the element show this same properties that of the element. Okay, now the elements they cannot be separated or they cannot be broken down into simpler components or by physical or any chemical method. Now there are certain properties, and based on these properties the elements are divided into two types, that is metals and non-metals. On the basis of these following properties, the elements can be classified into metals and non-metals. The first property is malleability. Malleability is the ability of a substance to be beaten into thin sheets. This means that thin sheets can be formed from the metal. For example, iron. The next property is brittleness. Brittleness means that the substance can be broken into thin sheets. Ductility. Ductility is the ability of a substance by which it can be stretched into thin wires. Example, copper. Copper wires are used in electric electrical purposes. Then conductivity. Conductivity, it is the ability of a substance. That means this substance allows heat and electricity to pass through it. Now this conductivity is of two types: thermal conductivity and electrical conductivity. Thermal conductivity means that the substance or the element have the ability, or it allows heat to pass through it. Different types of utensils are made on this purpose. Okay, then electrical conductivity. Electrical conductivity is the ability of a substance that allows electricity to pass through it. Then sonority. Sonority is the ability of a substance to produce a ringing sound when stuck with a hard object. This means when the particular element that is sonorous in nature is dropped from a slight height, then it will produce a ringing sound. A sound will be produced. Now, based on these properties, the elements are classified into metals and non-metals. All the elements that show these properties are metals, and the elements that do not show these properties, or we can say those elements that are not malleable, or that are not lustrous, that are not ductile, that are not brittle, are all non-metals. Examples of metals are sodium, copper, gold, iron, aluminium. These are metals. Non-metals mean carbon, oxygen, sulfur, chlorine, and iodine are non-metals. There are certain elements that show the properties of both metals and non-metals. Such elements are known as metalloids. Now these metalloids, they have a metallic appearance and they are brittle. This means they can be easily broken into pieces. And they are fair conductors of electricity. What do you mean by fair conductors of electricity? This means that they allow electricity to pass through them, but to a certain extent only. And then what is the use of metalloids? Metalloids are used in the manufacturing of glass, and they are also used in making the semiconducting devices. Semiconductors devices, and the example are like silicon, germanium, arsenic, antimony, tellurium. These are the examples of metalloids. Silicon vessels are generally used for cooking purposes also. There are around 118 elements that have been discovered so far. Out of these 118 elements, 98 elements are found naturally, and the 20 elements have been prepared artificially by the scientists in the laboratories. Now, these elements or the atoms of an element are always represented using symbols. The representation of these elements using their short form or abbreviation is known as the chemical symbol. In earlier times, what happened? The elements, they were represented by the help of a picture. After some time, as the time passed on, the elements were named after the name of the place where they were first found. For example, copper. The copper name copper and its symbol Cu. It comes from a Latin word that is named as cuprum. And the word cuprum means from the land of Cyprus. Now, it was not possible every time. So, a new modern method of representation was discovered. And this modern method of representation included the use of symbols. Now, how can we use symbols, or what is the modern method of representation of an element or an atom? Now the first step is that the first letter of the name of the element. Okay, the first letter of the name of an element is used as the symbol. And it is always written in capital. For example, for hydrogen, H is used as a symbol and oxygen, O. Now, what happens if two or more elements are there and their name starts with the same alphabet? Then what we'll do? Then the two-letter symbol is used. For example, calcium, cadmium, chlorine, cobalt. These are the various elements whose first letter is same, that is C. So what we will do? Then the next letter will be used in the two-letter symbol. For example, calcium. Ca will be used for calcium. Now, when we talk about cadmium, then what happens? Cad. Then, since Ca is already used for calcium, here we will use Cd. That is cadmium. For chlorine, Cl. Cobalt, Co. So, this is the method where the elements have the same alphabet, then the two-letter symbol are used. Now, in certain cases, what happens? The English names and the Latin names of the elements are different. So, here what happens? The elements, the symbol is derived from their Latin names. For example, for potassium, the Latin name is kalium. So, the symbol that will be used is K. For gold, it is aurum. So, the symbol will be written as AU. Okay. And I have also given a list of the first 20 elements. Okay. So, you people learn how to write the symbol on the basis of this explanation. Just learn how to write the symbol. Okay. Also learn them, because these will be very useful when we will be writing the equations. Okay. So that's all for today. I hope you understood well, and stay safe. Thank you.